Well, thanks so much, Mr. Chairman, for your very strong and compelling statement about the needs for affordable energy on the day that gas prices continue to hit highs across the country. American consumers are suffering significantly. The administration doesn't seem to care very much about what the impact is on American families who are trying to buy gasoline and at the same time buy groceries and at the same time send kids to school and buy clothing and maybe considering something they'd like to do for the summer. But at the gasoline prices, as a result of the administration's activities and specifically the Department of Interior's activities, it is very challenging for American families, which is no surprise then that under this administration, 3 out of 4 Americans think this country is heading in the wrong direction. So I'm very happy that you're holding this hearing today and very happy for the very strong statement that you've had, Mr. Chairman, much more reflective of the needs of the American people than of the needs and demands of the climate elitists of this country who are running this administration. I do want to thank the Secretary for being here to testify today. The Department of Interior is the steward for 20% of America's lands and much of America's waters. Now, most of this land that the stewards of is in the West. In Wyoming, half of our land is owned by the federal government. This includes Indian reservations, wildlife refuges, national parks, national recreation areas, and the vast Bureau of Land Management holdings. In Wyoming, we're very proud of our national parks and all of our parks. You know, each year we host millions of visitors. They come to enjoy the spectacular views and iconic wildlife of the Grand Tetons and of Yellowstone National Park. This year is a landmark for Wyoming and the Park Service as we celebrate the 150th anniversary of Yellowstone. The department also manages water, fights wildfires, oversees grazing, and it facilitates outdoor recreation. The West is confronting a historic drought. With reservoirs drying up, it concerns me that the Bureau of Reclamation was the only bureau at the Interior Department that was actually cut in the budget request this year. The department needs to prioritize our rural ranching and farming communities. Without water to grow the crops and raise the cattle, these communities would not exist, and the food needs of the American people would be even more dire and more expensive. The department also oversees much of America's energy reserves. No department plays a more critical role in either enabling or undermining, because it's an either-or here, enabling or undermining American energy production. It seems today that this department is undermining American energy production. With inflation at a 40-year high and energy prices skyrocketing, the job as Secretary of Interior is pivotal. During the last year, gas prices have repeatedly hit new records, forcing American families to spend more on filling their tanks. Every day I hear from Wyoming families worried about making ends meet because of skyrocketing energy costs. And I don't know if you saw this morning in prediction this morning, Mr. Chairman, they're talking now $6 a gallon gasoline this summer, later in the summer, all across the United States. There's no place you can go where it's less than $4 a gallon. During this energy crisis, when the department could be opening up abundant American oil and gas reserves, the Department of Interior has done everything possible to shut them down. The President says he wants his administration to encourage more American energy. Instead, your department, Madam Secretary, stalls, postpones, and kills oil and natural gas lease sales. Your department is undermining domestic energy production, not expediting it. The results are apparent. Since President Biden took office, Americans have become much more dependent on foreign sources of energy. Meanwhile, the same administration has spent much of its time begging our adversaries to produce more oil. You said it right, Mr. Chairman. Well before the war in Ukraine, the administration and the President directly was even begging Russia for more oil. They even put it on the White House website. Not just oil, it's natural gas, it's coal. We have plentiful minerals in this country. We need to find ways to increase, not decrease, production of our nation's most abundant natural resources. It wasn't long ago that the shale revolution helped make our nation energy not just independent, but dominant. America was uniquely positioned to help our allies free themselves from the yoke of Russian energy. Sadly, this administration has brought us to a counter-revolution, complete with higher prices and a weaker economy. Not what a president should be proud of, and the American people's polling shows that the American people are very disturbed by what this administration is doing. Now is the time to reverse course. I hope we can begin to identify areas where we can work together to make American energy dominant again. By working to restore American energy dominance, this Department of Interior could play a vital role in reducing the economic distress that has been caused by this administration on millions and millions of Americans. I hope that you and the administration will seize the moment and reverse your destructive course, and it is self-destructive. Members of the committee are also concerned with your department's failure to respect Senate oversight responsibilities. You promised that this wouldn't happen, but it has. It was only 2 weeks ago that we finally received responses to questions for the record from last year's budget hearings. Last year's hearings we received answers to 2 weeks ago. A pattern has become very clear in this administration and this department specifically. After delaying and obstructing and outright ignoring this committee, Mr. Chairman, the responses failed to provide answers to the questions that were posed to you. Madam Secretary, this too needs to change, so I look forward to your testimony. Thank you for joining us today.